Belt squats and good mornings are soulmates. You start doing this combination, watch your leg gains blow up. I'm telling you right now, the carryover to squats and deadlifts will blow your mind. The strength increase, the fact that you're minimizing injuries, all these things go together. And honestly, you can't go wrong with this. So let me explain some of the benefits. First things first, you're getting more out of less weight due to the leverage the nature of the exercise, the moment arms. The weights used in both exercises are going to be dramatically lower than rep work on squats and deadlifts, which means what? Amazing stimulus to fatigue ratio. For those who don't know, whenever you perform an exercise, there's a certain training stimulus that you get from this, right? But then there's also fatigue that accompanies it. Now, some movements are high stimulus, high fatigue, while others are high stimulus, low fatigue. Then you have your little in-betweens. Now, conventional deadlifts and barbell back squats are phenomenal exercises and great mass builders too when appropriate volumes are used. However, the stimulus to fatigue ratio isn't the best. You're getting all kinds of compressive forces. The axial loading will unquestionably affect your recovery, which is why doing things like 5 sets of 10 is not advised. It will bury you to the ground. So even though we can call that effective for what it is, it's not practical in the recovery sense, especially if we're trying to address things from a bodybuilding standpoint. And because of the moment arms, the overall leverages involved, you're lifting much more than you have to. And the truth is, for little hypertrophy exercise, when you're trying to correct your weak links or simply get bigger muscles, the best thing you could do is get more out of less weight, therefore maximizing the stimulus to fatigue ratio. And then on the opposite extreme, we got overload training, but that's another topic altogether. So for example, if you're a 500-pound puller, you probably won't need more than 135 pounds on the good morning. That is not an over-exaggeration, but think about the difference here. Look at it objectively, how massive that is. You're getting a hip hinge in that would automatically raise your deadlift while giving you a similar training effect. But it's a fraction of the load. That is huge. That's absolutely everything. When you start doing good mornings, you might even feel like you're enhanced. You might feel like you're in a massive surplus because now you're not beating your body down with all this extra axial loading. And then when you combine it with the squat on top, which is the belt squat version, guess what? You don't have a bar on your back or on your collarbones or whatever, even the Zercher position. There's no compressive forces on the spine. Actually, the belt is around your waist. It's pulling down on that sacrum. So for those of you guys who have anterior pelvic tilt, this can really be helpful. Instead of having that Donald Duck action, it'll bring you back to correct posture. So what you have is a squat that allows you to get lots of volume in without compression. That is huge. And just like the good morning, you're not lifting that heavy. If you're squatting in the 400s, your belt squat is going to be in the 200s. If you're doing full range of motion, proper form, etc. And I'm talking about rep work here, say in the 10 to 20 range. So for both movements, we're getting the major movement pattern. We're still squatting. We're still getting the hip hinge in. But recovery is not compromised in any type of way. You do those two lifts, guess what? You feel absolutely fine right after. So what I would personally recommend is high intensity on squats and deads. So you can use that for 1 rep maxes, 3 sets of 3, even 5x5, although that can technically harm your recovery when you're past a certain point, but I'd still recommend it. Maybe not for deadlifts though, more so block pulls, given the lower back recovery and all that, and even high trap bar deadlifts. But high intensity for these axial loading type lifts. Don't accumulate your volume through that unless it's speed work. And then on the side, you supplement with belt squats and good mornings. You blast the volume with that. And for most of you guys who don't compete, for most of you guys who just watch YouTube Fitness, this combination can literally change your life. You can actually run, it's crazy of me to admit this, but you can run a minimalist program with just these two lifts, or somewhat minimalist. You know, you rotate through different styles, like on the belt squat. You do dead stop, you do half-field style, you do touch and go, good mornings, close stance, wide, safety squat bar. Then maybe another variation would change. Just those little rotations or simply manipulating volume intensity in that way will get you so far. It's unbelievable. And for those who pass the novice phase, this combination is even better for you. The concept of absolute load becomes more important. You've seen it happen to me on the bench press. Don't think this doesn't apply on the squat and dead. One may argue that's even more important in this way because of all the axial loading involved. So it's all about moment arms, leverages, and using the specific set and rep parameters that are most efficient for bodybuilding purposes. Like you can't tell me that high sets low reps is more efficient than 5 sets of 10. It's very good. Don't get me wrong. I've prescribed this many times. I do it myself. But for pure mass building, man, classics. 65, 75% of your 1 rep max, getting close to failure. It's hard to beat that. And when we talk about doing high volume on a hip hinge and a squat, you have to pick the variations that maximize the stimulus while lowering the fatigue. And belt squats and good mornings do exactly that, better than pretty much anything that I could think of. And that's real talk. By the way, if you look at the squat hinge continuum by Greg Nuckols, you'll see that good mornings are actually more of a hinge movement than conventional deads. So you're not missing out in terms of muscular development. And the reason why I'd recommend these over RDLs, although that's also great exercise, is because you're lifting less weight. Actually, it's about 50% of your RDL, realistically speaking. So that's where I'm getting at here. Better recovery overall. So start emphasizing these lifts in your training, either as a standalone procedure or to complement what you're already doing. And I think you'll be extremely satisfied with results. So enjoy. I'm going to make more videos on these movements. I'm going to show you different variations. I'm going to show you some DIY setups, all kinds of different things you can expect from me. And that's all I got to say. Keep me updated with the progress. I really want to know how this helps you out overall.